Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of Guadalupe City Council, Tuesday, April 14th. May we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Costa Jr.,
Here.
Councilmember Fernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Villegas,
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Here.
And Mayor Julian.
Here. And we have a quorum. Will you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item is the moment of thanks, appreciation, or condolences. Anybody just wish for peace? All right. Next item is agenda review. At this time, the city council will review the order of business and to see if we can change things around. Anybody on this side, right side? I would like to move on a regular business. Item 13, which is approval of employment agreement with David Trujillo, to number 12, and then Route 1 to 13. That work? Any objections, staff? All right. Thank you. The next item is community participation. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to participate or communicate on an item that's not on the agenda? I don't have any requests to speak. All right. The next item is item 6 is ceremonial calendar. The first item is the National Donate Life Month proclamation. Ms. Furness will go ahead and read that.
Okay.
Is there someone up going to receive that? Will you come up, sir? Thank you. How you doing again? Okay.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and read it. The Donate Life Month. Whereas organ, eye, tissue, marrow, and blood donations are life-giving acts recognized worldwide as expressions of compassion to those in need. More than 103,000 individuals nationwide and more than 23,000 in California are currently on the National Organ Transplant waiting list, and on average, 17 people die each day while waiting. And whereas the need for donated organs is especially urgent in Hispanic, Latino, and African American communities, and a single individual's donation of the heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and small intestine can save up to 8 lives. And whereas donation of the tissue can save and heal the lives of more than 75 others. Organ donors saved more than 46,000 lives last year, and any person can register to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor regardless of age or medical conditions. And whereas being a registered donor does not impact the quality of life-saving medical care a person receives in an emergency, and California residents can sign up with the Donate Life California Donor Registry online at any time by visiting donatelifecalifornia.org, or for Spanish speakers, donevitacalifornia.org. And whereas California residents can sign up to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor when applying for or renewing their driver's license or ID cards at the California Department of Motor Vehicles, or residents interested in saving a life through living kidney donation may visit livingdonationcalifornia.org. Now, therefore, be it resolved by virtue of the authority vested in the mayor and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Guadalupe, we do hereby recognize the month of April 2026 National Donate Life Month, and hereby proclaim DMV Donate Life Month in the City of Guadalupe. And in doing so, we encourage all Californians to check yes online and when applying for or renewing their driver's license or ID card at the DMV.
I deserve an applause. Thank you. Thank you for being here again. So please.
I decided I will give you guys a shorter presentation and not my 40-minute presentation. I hope you appreciate that. My name is Scott Burns. Almost 11 years ago, I got a kidney. Basically, a lady died suddenly, a nurse at Cottage Hospital. They thought it was a stroke. It turned out to be a brain aneurysm. She ended up donating a kidney to me, kidney to someone else, her liver, lungs, and heart, a total of 5 people. So because of that, I'm alive. And 2, I'm also, because of that, I'm promoting organ donation, trying to get people to put what I'm calling the pink dot on their driver's license. Right now, about 98% of the people that register in California do it with the pink dot on their driver's license. One of the reasons I come here for two things. One, the proclamation, after I get it, it'll go down in LA at the end of the month for a run walk where there'll be about 20,000 people that will be seeing that, your proclamation. And then after it's done there, I'll take it up to the something that's real close to you guys, Santa Maria, their new DMV. So people will see it then. Why I come here and do this is, as I do this, you guys and people listening to me seem to think that they should put a pink dot on their driver's license. The increasing in Santa Barbara County, it is increased higher than in some of the other areas. So that's why I'm doing this. It's called trying to get it all done. Currently, there are 189 people in Santa Barbara County as of last month on a waiting list for an organ transplant. There's probably 3 or 4 from Guadalupe, but we don't really go into that much details. The other thing I've got going on is in September, we have a walk barbecue at one of the beaches. If anybody wants to know more about it, I can send information. It's a free event for the family, basically for people that are in the organ donation community, so they can talk to other people and learn the issues that you have as you're doing this. And as people ask, you go, well, two things. One, Scott, they say, well, how long are you going to take these pills? Only as long as I want to live.
Yeah.
The other thing is people have said, well, I'm a little old. Can they use my organs? Two facts. The oldest living donor was 96 years old. The oldest deceased donor was 105 years old. So most of us are not that old. So you sign up and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you. You've been here for, I don't know how many years you've come and represented, the donation program. So we really appreciate you making that effort to let people know what's happening. My brother-in-law had a low kidney function and he had to go to UCLA, and he went last week and he's actually improving. But my wife was on the donor list and was ready to do that. So I appreciate you being here. And for us recognizing the population in the Guadalupe that needs to be, especially the Latinos, needs to make sure that we've got that little dot. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome. You never want to have to be there, but
Right.
It's nice to have it.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Next item is Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month proclamation. Christina, is there someone? Yes.
I think
Okay.
the card-
Go ahead.
Awesome. Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas child abuse and sexual assault are serious community conditions that affect the health, safety, and well-being of all residents. And addressing these issues requires active involvement from individuals and organizations throughout the community. And whereas people of all racial, cultural, and economic backgrounds are impacted by sexual violence, which is widespread and affects every segment of this community. And rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment cause a lasting harm, and statistics show that child sexual abuse prevention must be a priority, as 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls were experienced sexual abuse before the age of 18. And whereas child welfare services received 3,927 cases for investigation in North County, including 2,811 cases in the Santa Maria region that include Guadalupe, with 160 unique allegations of sexual abuse investigated. And whereas the emotional and physical scars resulting from sexual violence and child abuse are often long-lasting, and whereas working together to educate the community about prevention, support survivors, and speak out against harmful attitudes and behaviors is critically important. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs and sexual assault awareness and prevention education succeed through partnerships among social service agencies, schools, youth organizations, faith-based organizations, civic groups, law enforcement agencies, the business community, and residents. And whereas prevention is possible when everyone is engaged through increased education awareness and community involvement while recognizing the compassion and dedication of those working in prevention and response efforts, and acknowledging the challenges faced by victims and survivors of sexual violence and child abuse, as well as the impact on their families and loved ones. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the virtue of the mayor and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Guadalupe, we do hereby proclaim April 26 as Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month in the City of Guadalupe and call upon citizens, community agencies, law enforcement, faith-based organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase awareness of efforts to prevent child abuse and sexual violence, to learn the myths and facts surrounding sexual assault, and to work together to strengthen the safety and well-being of our community.
Thank you. Why don't you go and present it to our attention? Okay, okay. There you go.
Mayor, before I get started, I'd like to just recognize a couple of people that are here with us. tonight.
Please, yeah, please.
We have some staff members from the North County.
Can they stand up so you can stand up? Oh, they won't stand up. Okay.
that are
Okay, good.
based
FSA, yes. Yeah,
So
all
we're
right.
partnership. And I don't know how many of you noticed on your way into the building tonight,
We're
the
here, yeah.
beautiful pinwheels on your front lawn. That was facilitated by Family Service Agency and we have been doing it in Guadalupe for a number of years. We didn't do it last year because we had a death in our own family and it was hard to get it done last year. But Family Service Agency reached out and we made it happen and we wanted to do it right before the city council meeting tonight. And I'll say, you know, Lompoc is known for its wind, but I think Guadalupe has us beat. But those pinwheels sure are beautiful and representative of the work that we're all trying to do in the communities that we serve. So thank you for that. Good evening, Mayor Julian and members of the City Council. My name is Ann McCarty, and I'm the Executive Director for the North County Rape Crisis and Child Protection Center. I am truly humbled to stand before you again tonight to receive this proclamation. Over the years, one of the things that has become most meaningful to me as an Executive Director is the power of partnerships. I'm deeply grateful to the city of Guadalupe for recognizing the value of this work and how you've honored our agency yet again with another proclamation. But it's not just honoring us, it's honoring the women that are in this building with us here tonight, members of Child Welfare Services, law enforcement, the District Attorney's Office, and the Victim Witness Division. We can't do this work in isolation. Collaboration is indeed essential, not only in providing direct services to victims of sexual assault and child abuse, but also in prevention and education. Our shared goal is simple, yet it is profound. A future with no more sexual assault and no more child abuse. That's what we all want. While I'm proud of the work being done throughout our county, the reality is that there is still a lot of work left to do. But knowing that the city of Guadalupe stands with us in our mission gives us hope and strengthens our resolve. The numbers are staggering. One child harmed is way too many. We all say no more. And until that becomes a reality, we will continue to do what we do. We will continue to support survivors. We will continue to educate the community. Law enforcement will continue to investigate and hold offenders accountable. Social workers will continue to protect children. The district attorney's office will continue to prosecute, and our victim witness advocates will continue to walk alongside survivors with compassion and guidance through the legal process. Each of us, we all take our roles seriously, and together we strive to ensure that every victim receives the care and support they deserve. We know we are making a difference, and together we strive to ensure that every victim receives the care and support they deserve. Direct services aren't enough. Our goal is to prevent abuse before it ever happens. And when we cannot, we want every individual to know that help is available and that they're not alone. Recently, our staff, along with victim witness advocates, supported a young man through the process of reporting abuse that occurred when he was very young. As he prepared his victim impact statement with a Rape Crisis Center advocate, he was asked what led him to come forward. He shared that it was a presentation in his 7th grade classroom, one of our prevention programs, that helped him understand that what had happened to him was abuse. He remembered learning about grooming, online exploitation, and how to seek help. That knowledge stayed with him, and eventually he found the courage to tell his mother. While it's difficult to fully measure the impact of our work, his story is a powerful reminder for us all that education matters. It empowers, it protects, and sometimes it changes the course of a life. No one should ever suffer in silence, and no one should ever go without support. We'll continue this fight against sexual violence and child abuse, and we're grateful to stand alongside partners like you in the city of Guadalupe who make our work possible. So thank you for this powerful statement. Thank you for saying not in our city, and thank you again for the honor.
Thank you. Just the word, a decade ago, our safety net regarding sexual abuse was pretty open. You look at the audience that's out there today, you have a community and a partnership with legal, your counselors. We're proud of, to receive you and to be able to let people know what's going on in the world of sexual abuse. And in the audience, you have some very talented people, some really committed individuals that it really makes us proud that you come to us and want to spread the word about what you're doing. And we appreciate all that you do. We wish we had more time to basically acknowledge all of you there in the audience that are doing Guadalupe and the community a great service. So thank you all.
Well, thank you. And our work is not done. We've
Right.
got a lot of work left to do in Guadalupe. I'm excited that my associate director had a conversation with your lieutenant not too long ago about maybe doing some training with the officers with regards to sexual assault response. So we're looking forward to doing that. We can only go up from here.
Yeah.
We're not going to go backwards. We're
Right.
just going to go
Great.
forwards. So thank you so
Thank you.
much.
And thank you, the audience that are here, for your support. All right, the next item on the ceremonial calendar is National Library Week, April 19th to 25th. Ms. Villegas,
Yes, we do have somebody here.
okay,
This is Dawn Jackson. She is the library director at the Santa Maria Main Library.
welcome.
All right, National Library Week, April 19th through the 25th, 2026. Whereas first sponsored in 1958 with the theme Wake Up and Read, National Library Week is a national observance by the American Library Association and libraries across the country each April. Whereas today's libraries speak creatively, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. And whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. And whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. And whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations, connecting the dots to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. And whereas, excuse me, libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEAM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning. And whereas library workers have worked to expand fluency in digital literacy skills needed to navigate the online world where 21st century information exists. And whereas getting a library card is a financially literate action. And whereas the Guadalupe Library, established in 1911 under the Santa Barbara County Free Library and currently operated by the Santa Maria Public Library System, is joining all libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country to celebrate National Library Week under the theme, Find Your Joy. Now therefore be it resolved that by the virtue of the authority vested in the mayor and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Guadalupe, we do hereby recognize April 19th through the 25th as National Library Week and invite all residents and visitors to visit our library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that the library draws us together as a community.
Thank you. I'm gonna take that turn. Yeah, okay.
I'll take a page from Anne's book and take a picture.
Okay.
I'm probably not as good at selfies as she is. Honored to have City Council recognize National Library Week in Guadalupe this year. It's been a while, I think, since I've attended a City Council meeting out here. I am Dawn Jackson. I'm the Library Director for the City of Santa Maria. And as mentioned in the proclamation, we do oversee operations funded by the county in our branch locations throughout Zone 3 of Santa Barbara County. So Guadalupe, Orcutt, Los Alamos, Cuyama are all part of our jurisdiction and in Zone 3. So National Library Week is an annual celebration of libraries and library professionals and the invaluable contributions that they make to create strong and resilient communities. We know that communities that have libraries are have lower crime rates. They are more sustainable, and particularly in times of economic duress, most folks will turn to the library even more so during those times because it helps ease economic hardships and provides a safe space for people to come together. This year's theme is Find Your Joy. I think we could all use a little joy in our lives. So all week long, the library will be having special events and opportunities to celebrate. So each day, you can join in the celebration. Monday, April 20th is Right to Read Day. So we encourage folks to celebrate their right to read by applying for a free library card or checking out a book or 50, that's our book limit. So you can take out 50, up to 50 items. Tuesday, April 21st is National Library Workers Day. So that's a day that you could go into the library and say thank you to our library staff for providing excellent community service. They are excellent at picking just the right item that you need. They're friendly and welcoming and can provide any resource that you really need for a better quality of life. Wednesday, April 22nd is National Library Outreach Day. So we do have a bookmobile that circulates throughout the city of Santa Maria and at county locations. It comes to special events out here in Guadalupe as well. So take time to visit the bookmobile. There's 11 stops that are regular stops, or you can just write in to tell the library outreach staff what you love about what they do for their community. And Thursday is Take Action for Libraries Day. So this is a great opportunity for you to join a friends group like the Friends of the Guadalupe Library that is very supportive of library services. They offer a lot of programming. They help extend our library budget to be able to purchase more items for the community. So you could join the Friends of the Library group, donate to the library or the Friends of the Library, volunteer, or show your support on a larger scale, and write to your Congress people for support of libraries in general throughout the nation. Libraries are having a little bit of a hard time out there. We just want to keep providing the wonderful services that we provide to our communities and help build a better quality of life for everybody. So thank you again for allowing us to be here. Our branch manager, Selena, sends her regrets. She had to pick up her daughter from softball tonight. But she or I are very happy to come out here anytime and tell council about library services, statistics on what we've done and the difference that we're making in the community. So anytime you would like to have us, we would love to come out.
All right, thank you. Right. You know, when my daughters were starting to date, I always asked, does your boyfriend have a library card? As I think everybody should ask. There you go. Okay. There you go. Yes, it is. All right. The next item is presentations, Boys and Girls Club Quarterly Report, presentation by Daisy Perez. Hi, Daisy.
Hello, my name is Daisy Perez. I am the Regional Club Director for Santa Barbara County for the Boys and Girls Club. I oversee 2 sites in Santa Maria, which is our railroad
Can you
location.
pull that down a little bit? There you
Yes.
go.
I oversee 6 sites at our, in total for Santa Barbara County. 2 sites in Santa Maria, one's for railroad and the other one is Evans Park over by the projects. And then I oversee 4 sites here in Guadalupe, Mackenzie, the junior high, Mary Buren, and then the Ron. Okay. All right, so I'll be reporting from December to March. What we have done at our Ron is to be a clubhouse. Go ahead and switch. Okay. Some programs and highlights that our kiddos have been doing was Jewelry Kids Fine Arts Triple Play. Triple Play is 3 sports, basketball, baseball, and I think it was soccer that they do. So we just scatter it throughout the semester. Cooking class, they love cooking. Journaling is usually when they come in and they say if they have something on their mind, sit down, write for a few minutes. They will, if they want to share out loud, they share out loud. If they don't, that's fine. Torch Club is usually for kiddos that are in between the tweens, so 10, 11, 12. They do their community help. They do fundraising because they want to do a trip out to college, sightseeing type of thing for college. Then we have the teen room. The teen room is where our teenagers get to hang out with the rest of the teens. They do also programming there as well. Smart Girls is a program where a female staff member has female members, and depending on the age group, so the class is taught where how much we can say about their female development, how their body is gonna change. We often tell the parents if it's okay for us to be talking about that, since we do permission slips. Some parents say, go ahead and talk to them. I'm not going to talk to them. So they leave the job for us to explain to the kiddos on what's going to happen throughout the years. Positive relationships, pretty much communicating with other peers from other sites. That way they're engaged, is not just with their own little bubble where they feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Go ahead and switch. These are a few pictures of our kiddos when they do the art program. We use nature. So if you see a few trees that are missing some leaves, that was us. Sorry. But we do incorporate it in our art. So we have a few pictures of our kiddos participating in that. Go ahead and switch. Our average daily attendance at Ron, it varies from month to month. For right now, the schools, what we have is we have 58 kiddos from Mary Buren that attend, that are registered, sorry. And then a few kids from Mackenzie, from the junior high, and from Rigetti. From Rigetti is a really low number because once they reach high school, is they're too cool for the club. But we tried to keep them to come in. We do have a club called Keystone that is for the teens. I was a Keystone member. That's how I got into the Boys and Girls Club. I started when I was 17 as a member, and I stayed as a staff member, and I've been with the club for 23 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So our total number registered is 141 within all those age groups. Community partnerships, we have the Guadalupe Bulldogs, Rotary, Hancock, the Boys and Girls Club Basketball League, GUSD, Santa Maria Police Department, Hancock, and Trilogy Club. Trilogy is from Napomo. There are a couple of, how do you say, not veterans, but they're retired already, and they are,
Yeah.
they're used to be teachers or were pretty much, yeah, tutors or whatnot involved in the education field. And they come out to the club and they tutor our kiddos 4 times a week, and they dedicate their time 1 hour a day in the library, kiddos that need help with homework, reading, or whatnot. All right. For winter break, we had 60 kiddos in total. This winter break was sponsored by the Guadalupe Union School District. So we had breakfast, lunch, and snack provided, and busing from pickup to the club site as well. So the kiddos participated in various things, such as STEM, art, sports. We also had field trips. We did one particular field trip, which was Zoo to You. So instead of us going to the zoo came to us, and it was pretty cool. The kids had a blast. We also took them to the Moxie Museum in Santa Barbara. The kids have a blast there too, because it's hands-on. It's not like, here, come and see this. It's more like, oh, I can touch. So yeah, so there's a few pictures of the animal that they brought over to our club site. And then we also did a mural. We had a person, I forgot her name, a person from Santa Barbara that came over, no, not Santa Barbara, San Diego, and she did a mural with our kiddos at the C train that we have there at the club site. All our kiddos got to paint it. They were very happy. They even said, "Thank you for letting us paint on your painting." We're like, technically it's your painting, but okay. So the kiddos had a blast. They had aprons on. They did their the brushing, everything. So the kiddos had an amazing time out there.
And Daisy, I just have to point out that the one in the middle is my daughter. So everybody look at my little one. She's very tall.
She's an awesome kiddo, by the way. Go ahead and change it. And that's the outcome of our
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
museum. Yeah. So we try to incorporate a few things from Guadalupe, like you see the old water tower, the tower here from City Hall, the sports, the school. On the other side of the C train, we have the Bobcat of the school district. So we tried to incorporate everything we could. All right, next one. We did Shop with the Cop. We had 30 kiddos being escorted all the way to Walmart. I was, like I mentioned on the rec meeting, I saw a few posts on Facebook. Oh my gosh, something's happening with the Boys and Girls Club. The police is escorting them. Something went wrong. Check on your kids. They were like, somebody should post something and say, it's Shop with the Cop. We're okay. So we had a couple of kiddos participate. They got picked up on rented vans or vehicles from a collaboration with Santa Maria PD and Guadalupe PD as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and hope to do it again. And we participate in the Guadalupe Christmas Parade. Usually we get to walk, but this time we had a bed, so we were able to have kiddos on the bed, and some of them wanted to walk. So these are a few pictures of the kiddos participating at the Guadalupe Parade. And then we also had donations from Marion Medical Center. Each kiddo got a gift. So that day, whoever was there got a gift to take home. And then we also did a photography class. during our club hours. And these are a few winning photography pictures that we're taking to the next level, which is nationals.
Cool.
And that's it.
That's a big turtle. Is that here at the Guadalupe Lake?
It was in
Oh, it's fun.
also Flaco.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good sized turtle.
Yes. Any questions?
What is
comments, or
what is your
concerns?
maximum capacity there?
Maximum that we've, not sure what the maximum capacity is, but what we've had is 120. And that's a lot.
Okay.
It's like you can hear the echo
Yeah.
and kids running into each other. I mean, we do split them up by grade groups. So usually we keep the TKK, first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, seventh and eighth. And then if we get high schoolers, we'll plug them in there too, but they usually don't like the rotations.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Any questions?
Quick question.
Sure.
You talked about those individuals from Trilogy who are there at the library and whatever. Do they have specific times where they read to the kids?
Yes, they're usually there from 3 to 4.
Is that every day,
My 4 days a week.
4 days a week?
Yeah.
Oh, Thank you.
Mhm.
I had a quick question.
Yes.
Today I attended the school. They had like cafecito with the principal, and there were some parents there that were sharing some concerns in regards to membership.
Mhm.
What are the fees for?
Since we are not in collaboration with the school district for summer, so their fees are not covered. So this time there will be a fee and there are scholarships available. So direct them to us, we'll hook them up. We're
it.
not gonna turn a kiddo down even if they can't pay anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. I think that was a worry that they were.
Yeah, I know, and it's the first time in summer that we've done that, because usually we collaborate with the school district, so the school district pays for their membership. But summer, it's not gonna happen since they are gonna have fun in the sun here at the school site. So yeah,
Would families have to pay just for the summer, or is it like a?
correct. For the summer, we'll have a certain fee for the summer, and then for the school year, we'll have a $60 for the whole school year fee.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you don't have the amount for the summer?
No, I don't, yeah, it's, yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's scholarships are available and they're not gonna get turned down.
Okay, thank you.
When some of us received a note about your Diamonds Are Forever, May 9th.
Yes.
They're at the Veterans Memorial Building in Santa Maria.
Mhm.
And it's an auction and basically a fundraiser.
Correct,
for the
yeah.
group, So,
Uh-huh.
so I think all of us got emails for that. So
Mhm.
that's a great event. So.
Yes, and we also have Back at Youth Night coming up, which
Right.
is May 28th. So if any of you guys want to participate in that, that event is usually, we close down the site and we have our kiddos, we choose 50 kiddos to come in and 50 sponsors to come in as well. You pair up with the kiddo and pretty much you walk 2 hours or do 2 hours of what they do during club time. So we have a few STEM stuff for you guys. You'll get fed, you'll get a t-shirt, and then we'll also raffle some stuff for some
Okay.
prizes at the end.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Any further questions? Thanks for the update.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Have a good
Okay.
one.
All right. Our next item is a consent calendar. The following items are presented to the City Council for approval without discussion as a single agenda item. Is there a council person that wishes to pull an item for discussion?
I don't know if we need to pull it, but did we want to talk about AE with this public comment or not?
Normally, we just include that in our record, so. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. Nobody wants to pull it? How about a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll
There's
second.
a second, Mr. Costa. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Okay, now we're going to management reports, interim city administrator, Mr. Trujillo.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff and public. I will be starting with the public works report. So this last month, we closed out the project with Dudek doing the urban forestry management program. And then our ET continues to work with Waste Management and Cal Recycle for the implementation process for the Cal Recycle requirements. We started prep on the field for the baseball field with irrigation. And then dirt work over the last couple weeks, getting that kind of squared away. I'm sure the mayor will speak more on that later. There's been some storm drain cleaning and weed abatement. We've been replacing street signs as well. We're still pending Caltrans permits for the transit station renovation as well as the Royal Theater. And I'll talk a little bit about that on the next report. As you've seen in the consent calendar, the SCADA emergency is finally closed. That one actually came in under cost. We saved about 13 grand on that, primarily from the decommissioning of the water tower, not using that one for water anymore. So that allowed us to save money, not having to replace anything on the mechanical side or electrical side for the sensors and everything. Everything else at the water plant's running pretty good. The wastewater, they added a biological treatment station at the Pasadena lift station. We kind of get the hookup on that. The company BioAlchemy that we use at the treatment plant currently, it's like an additive biology to kind of speed up the process. We're trying it out with grease because Pasadena's got a lot of grease that goes through their systems over there. I think it's primarily because there's a lot of like home businesses out there. So we're trying to find a way to kind of eliminate the need to have a company come out and pump the lift stations and clear all the grease off the top of that one, because that one's more common. We did have to make a repair at the Highway 1 lift station, which is kind of something we didn't really want to do because it's so close to being finished and coming into operation, but we had to keep it going. And that is pretty much it for the public works. And then for the admin report, we're still waiting to be contacted by the county for the election box. We still haven't heard anything on that. I know Councilmember Hernandez is chasing that down, but I don't know if you've heard anything.
They said they were. I just maybe if we just want to reach out back to them because they did confirm along with Steve Labanino's office.
Okay.
Is there a location that could go? I know that there's something in its place.
Yeah, we kind of we found a spot right there by PD,
Okay.
kind of on the ADA ramp.
Okay.
It's kind of got like a kind of alcove kind of built into it. And it looks like it'll fit the same size box that was out there previously. So,
Okay. Perfect. I think ballots drop boxes by like the end of this month.
okay.
Yeah, I think ballots get mailed out, I believe.
We did receive that $50,000 check from the Santa Barbara Foundation that Tom had mentioned during the capital campaign presentation.
Right.
So we got that. And then we're trying to work out something, maybe like the appropriate way to send some kind of like thank you response, whether it should come from GCAC or capital campaign. We're all kind of get together and see what the proper way to thank them is. The theater is kind of moving along still, still keeping up steam. It didn't seem like, I mean, I was gone last week, but it didn't seem like any weather that came through slowed them down at all. They're still able to do a lot of stuff on the inside. Where they're at right now, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, all that is kind of going to be on an as needed basis as we move forward. They've kind of got everything that they can do right now. So it's just going to be kind of piecework as they kind of lay out stuff, finish stuff, so they're able to come back in. They did a test on the front fascia that is facing the street, not the fascia, the stucco.
Right.
So they had to verify that there was no asbestos in that and before they start any kind of renovations. And that's still all pending historic review also. But they wanted to get that kind of be more proactive on that. They're still waiting on some structural review. They're starting to lay out footers and rebar for the pads. It's looking like next week they're gonna start pouring the southernmost pad. So I think that's the one that would border like Lupe's property. So they're starting to work that. They're waiting. They submitted the Caltrans permit today. A couple weeks ago, the end of March, I guess. Everybody all kind of met with Caltrans in here, and we just kind of discussed how we can kind of streamline some of these permits. And it sounds like they made good headway. So they might be able to kind of push this one through a little bit quicker. But we're still gonna be waiting A&E and then historical review to determine what's going on with that front wall facing the street. They're getting ready to connect the fire lines and to the facility, and then all the underground work's been signed off by the inspector. So all that stuff's looking pretty good. And now it's all just you know, it's mostly like historical review before they really get cooking on stuff. There's still some steel structural review that they got to go through, but that's mostly an A&E kind of thing, more on the engineering side. Las Mujeres is moving very good. I don't know if people have seen it. If you drive by the tracks, you can see they got the wall up.
Right.
They got the wall up around the ADUs that are over there. They got the drains and all that stuff coming from that property squared away. They got the sewer system all dialed in. They're just waiting until everything's complete before they cover that up and remove those plates. 303 is still moving good. You can see they got the entranceway on the southernmost side pretty much done. And then some sidewalk right there by the bus stop, so that's working out pretty good. And then Amtrak, we're still waiting for permits so we can start construction, which is, you know, I noticed in my calendar today, I had a next week, I think it was supposed to be construction complete. So,
Complete.
so, you know, we're 4 months behind or whatever. So, that's kind of a kick in the bottom, but we're moving forward. And then, we're still waiting on any further meetings for the Highway 166 process. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
What's the anticipated finish date for Las Mujeres?
It should be June.
June. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sign that says move the sign further closer to the stop sign, or we're not 45 and the says, I know it's for the construction that's coming up on.
Bridge here.
Is the southern part or the eastern part of 11th 55 or something like that?
45, yeah.
No, on the east side, going to Seamus, is it faster?
There.
Is that why they have a
That's
45
over
sign
there,
to
by
reduce the speed?
25.
It's 40. Oh. That's not me. That's maybe him and a Caltrans conversation.
45.
Well, that's been, yeah, it's been posted on Facebook and stuff that, well, you got a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit here, and then you got a sign that says 45. But basically it's regarding the construction, that's
Oh, okay.
45
Okay.
construction zone beyond that stop sign.
Sign says construction zone ahead.
Well, it is, yeah.
Okay.
That's Caltrans thing, so they get.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
We'll give them a call.
Okay.
I have a quick question, David.
Yes, sir.
I know you mentioned that Caltrans is behind on the permitting. Is there anything that we can do to contact our state legislators to see if they can advocate on our behalf, since it's a state department?
I'm pretty sure that's been done for the Royal Theater. And that didn't
They didn't.
pull any kind of weight.
Okay, who did you guys
Um,
contact?
I do not know who they contacted.
Okay.
But I know they've been contacting everybody to try to speed up permit process. I think it's just we go on the docket and then, sometimes I know for I think Royal Theater they kicked it back because they wanted new engineered plans to include the sidewalk, or if it was going to include the sidewalk or not. Just different things, how they're cutting in the stuff. We are gonna try to piggyback on Souza. They're the ones doing the Highway 1 construction. So I know for like some portions at Amtrak, for example, we're gonna try to get in line with their progress as their construction moves. So that might speed up things. But then again, I think they're starting on the north side of town. So
Got it. Okay.
um,
I was just
I
curious.
think with, Jeff has a real tight relationship with Caltrans and especially on the permitting side and he connects with them for everything that we're doing around the city. So everybody's pushing.
yeah.
Sometimes when it comes from the top, people are gonna say, well, what are you? No, no, no.
Yeah, and some of it, it's not even us. It's, because we're working with not just like subcontractors or contractors, but we also need to include other agencies. So,
Mhm.
we may have all our ducks in a row, but another agency, like the electric company,
Mhm.
might not have submitted their stuff. So we're waiting on their permit to go through so that they can do their work before we can do our work. So even if we have our permit, we can't do our work because they can't do their work. So there's a whole bunch of things in play that you wouldn't even expect to actually slow down our progress, but because everything, it waterfalls, right? So like if you look at like most
For the
project
Amtrak
management.
specific, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So I want to be specific to the Amtrak project. If you
Yeah.
can chart, is that what we're
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
about
So
for the,
with like
for the
Amtrak,
PG&E? Is that what you're
everything's-
saying?
yeah.
Possibly. Okay.
Yeah, so it's looking like, because we have to pull electrical, but if their permit isn't approved, then even if our permit is approved, we still can't do work because they have to do their part before we can do our part. Otherwise, we're like reversing construction to move
Okay.
forward.
So
on
we're
construction.
waiting on PG&E kind of for the Amtrak, not specifically the
Right.
permit. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, next item, Director of Public Safety, Chief Cash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and our community. The only report we talked about that's here on the docket about the insurance service office and the public protection classification. This Friday, I finally got written word from ISO, the ones who do the rating. So they gave me a letter that is going to be sent out, but it's dated April 20th, where it states that Guadalupe, Santa Barbara County, our classification is a 5, and the effective date, I got the entire redoing of their initial report, and it's dated for August 1st, 2026. So everything has been done, it's been completed, and they'll be mailing out their letter to the insurance companies April 20th with the change that we're back in line with everything else, and everything will be effective August 1st, 2026. So
Good.
that's where we're at, and thank goodness that part is moving forward. But, and again, too, we also have all the paperwork. It's on our main file computer system so that future groups will be able to get all of our paperwork and know how to take care of this long before we have to get in these kind of situations again. So, and that's my report. If there's any questions.
Any questions? That's too easy, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, Finance Director, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the public and staff. This is just going to be an update of the city's financial position as of March 31st of 2026. Just some preliminary comments. These are unaudited and preliminary numbers. So these are, look at these as numbers that will and can change. As of March 31st, the budget and the city is at 75% through the current fiscal year. Expenses are at 71% expended. Revenues are at 66%. Now that number is very misleading though, because I think somebody made a comment earlier that it didn't look so bad. I think the challenge here is that we are in a budgetary deficit. And so looking at that 71% expended, the way that we want to read that is that the effective remaining budget is closer to 18%, not the implied 29%. So the difference between, 171 would be 29, obviously, but it really is more closer to 18%. So if you look at it that way, we're definitely way further ahead expended than we should be. So we have to be very cautious on that front. And then on that note, again, we are in, I'm going to say this a few times, we're in a budgetary deficit. The report as of March 31st, and keep in mind, the numbers are being worked on. We're working through 3 years of audits. We're reconciling a lot of accounts. And so the numbers will continue to shift. And so the deficit as it stands on the report is $901,000 under, which means that we are forecasting spending more than we're intaking in revenues. So that's something that you should be aware of. Now, if you take into consideration things that have maybe been worked through the audits and through just the cleanup process, for example, Measure A money that was budgeted, maybe not in the correct spot on the prior budget, that's going to be coming off, which is going to increase your budget deficit from 900,000 to about $1.7 million. So that's a big number for the city. There's a few things I think to consider that are causing the deficit. Again, maybe the timing right now is in part of it. Your revenues from collections of real estate taxes are a little behind what was forecasted. So that could be a combination of either timing or potentially maybe rosy budgeting, which we want to make sure we address in future budgets. And then again, I mentioned the Measure A dollars that are going to be shifted out of unrestricted funding to restricted funding where they should be. Moving forward to enterprise funds, those are performing as expected. They by and large have stable revenues and controlled expenses. Some of the challenges just to keep an eye on that we have as we move through the budget process, through correcting some of the fiscal challenges that the city currently has is, we need to keep in mind that we need to keep the city operations going.
Mhm.
And so that's always first and foremost, the operations need to continue, the services to the public need to continue. That being said, we're behind 3 years in audits. We have system-wide reconciliations of our books. We're looking at averting potential liquidity crisis in the future. And again, we're spending more than we're intaking. So those are some of the challenges. Maybe the path forward, though, as we look at what we can do to remedy the situation, we're definitely going to look at aligning expenditures with available unrestricted revenues. I think that's going to be key, ensuring that restricted funds are used appropriately, and then finding ways to reduce costs and or increase revenues. Hopefully both are true in the future. And with your support, hopefully that will happen. So with that, I'll just turn over to see if there's any questions.
No, I think that, it's never fun to hear that you're in a deficit, but it's at least we know where we're at and what we need to do. And I'm sure that staff have been meeting to actually look at those expenses and to make sure that we don't spend any more than we've already done. You were going to comment?
Yeah. So we've had several different talks. The one thing that we don't want to fall back on is, any kind of drastic measures. We don't want to start laying off people or furloughs or anything like that. We want to try to keep that as worst case scenario, obviously. And I think we've had some, I don't want to say like unforecasted delays, but I think we put a lot of stock into Pasadena development, you know, because so much of our revenue comes from the building and planning department.
Right.
And because they've been delayed with their bridge process and all that, with their fights with UP and Santa Maria Railroad and everything, it's kind of put them back, so they can't start breaking ground and start generating that revenue that the city's used to seeing when that development goes in. So we will have to do some, I would say, restructuring of staff alignment. In doing so, I think we could move some things that are like, say, partially public works funded to being fully public works funded, and that eliminates the need for general fund impact. I think stuff like that can help us. I think maybe putting some positions that may become vacant after tonight into cost savings. You know, keeping in a typical government organization, you kind of want to stay at like a 5% cost savings as far as staffing goes. So if we could kind of get to where we're at like that level, I think that would save us a little bit. And then we just have to essentially stop spending for unnecessary items, right? You know, it's hard whenever government agencies get funding, because they get funded different ways. You know, cities get funded through taxes and, you know, revenue generated from the city. And our city isn't set up economically to generate enough revenue to fully support the city's operations. It's just not our ecology here. It's just not like that. So until we can start bringing in events or additional builders, but we don't have a lot of land within the city limits either. So, you know, until 166 gets done, talking with DJ Farms, that's when they're going to start offloading that frontage properties.
Okay, good.
So we're still looking at, you know, upwards 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, depending on how far Caltrans continues to push it out. We're not going to see development there. And unless we can start to get box stores to start to bite on some of these larger properties, bringing in grocery stores or a fast food chain or something like that, that generates solid revenue consistently, it's a lot of it's going to fall on our hands. So we are going to have to get tighter with the purse. You know, unnecessary purchases, no longer having niceties. Everything's got to be a necessity. But we still need to ensure that the community is still receiving the services that we promised to provide it. So we'll have to get together and put our heads together, get with council, of course. Weigh our ideas, you know, we're gonna have to strategize. It's not gonna be a, this falls on this person or this falls on that person. It's it falls on the city. So there will definitely be more to come. We're getting ready to start meeting. Eli's already started revising the master fee schedule.
Right.
You know, and that's going to feed to the cost allocation plan, and then, you know, everything's going to kind of start to snowball. But we're going to start working on the budget sooner than later, so that we can at least get a baseline of where we're at, where we need to be, where we're going to have to cut things, and then be able to go from there and provide you guys with more realistic data, and see what kind of outcomes we can come up with.
I think Eli mentions that the essential services, we're not, those are going to continue. We just have to look at tightening up our belts and making sure, like you say, it's something that we need and not that something that we want. So any questions, Eli?
Good question.
Sure.
You talked about that we're 3 years behind in our audits. Can you give us a brief update where we are?
Yeah, they're currently working on closing 22, 23. And so once that gets done, then we can start on moving it forward, but the goal is that it gets done before the end of this month is what the goal is. But that's kind of a moving target because sometimes, the auditors bring back more requests. And sometimes there's a timing issue with coordinating the auditors' agendas with our agendas. And so it's sort of a moving target at this point, but that's our goal.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you for the report. Let's see. Now we'll go to regular business, and as I requested and was approved by the council, we'll go to approval of employment agreement with David Trujillo as city administrator. Sylvia.
Thank you, Mayor, council, staff, and community. It is recommended that the council adopt resolution number 2026-16, approving the employment agreement with David Trujillo as city administrator and authorizing the mayor to execute this agreement. At the end of September 2025, the city received the notice of resignation from our previous administrator and immediately initiated recruitment for that position. As the candidate pool was narrowed to the most qualified applicants, the city proceeded to the interview phase. Mr. Trujillo, who was originally hired as our Director of Public Works and later served as the interim city administrator during the recruitment process, advanced to the interview phase and was ultimately chosen for the position. David brings extensive experience in supervisory leadership, project management, financial planning and analysis, along with a diverse skill set that will benefit the city. His appointment is expected to provide continuity in leadership and support the city's operational stability and long-term strategic priorities. The key terms for his employment agreement do include a 3-year term, which would extend to the end of March of 2029, with a base salary of $180,000 annually, with the 6% salary increases contingent on satisfactory performance evaluations. He would receive health benefits consistent with non-safety department leads, life insurance benefit, and participation in the deferred compensation plan, employee funded, no contribution from the city. He would be entitled to vacation, sick leave, and holidays that are consistent with non-safety employees, 80 hours of annual administrative leave, enrollment in CalPERS. Other provisions that are consistent consist of professional development allowance up to $5,000 annually, city vehicle access, automobile allowance of $150 a month when the city vehicle is not available for use, reimbursement of business expenses, and finally, severance, which would be 6 months base salary and health benefits for employee only. Any questions?
Any questions from Amelia?
Sylvia, on
Yes.
the section on admin leave,
Yes.
take my glasses off. Unless I misread it, it's talking about when given 80 hours upfront, January 1, it's not accrued. But if the individual leaves and they have taken more than what would have been accrued, there's the figure of 20 hours per month. That doesn't equate to 80 hours annually. If you're prorating it, it
Mhm.
would be 6.66. But in the agreement here, it says, and the employee's final day of pay at 20 hours per month, talking about the accrual.
I think that was the provision that was in the previous administrator's contract.
Then that was,
Yeah.
I believe that was wrong then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can correct that.
Okay. No, that's all. That's all.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to adopt resolution 2026-16?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-16.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman, excuse me, Councilmember Costa Junior,
Aye.
Throw that in, throw that in.
Aye.
Member Fernez,
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
And Councilmember Hernandez
Aye.
and Mayor Julian.
Aye, resolution passes. Welcome. Mr. Trujillo. All right, you want to make a speech?
Um, I want to thank the council members for giving me this opportunity. It's a great honor to take this position and try to help move the city forward. As we've seen tonight, we have a lot of work to do. But I think we have the team that can do it. I think we have the support from you guys. And I think we owe it to this community to give this community what it deserves. And I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be a part of that.
I've had comments from the general public regarding your position and the interim position, and all of it was positive. Just go with them because you wouldn't get any better. And the folks that are sitting at this table right now are very important to the city. You wouldn't have Eli here, and you have Sylvia here, you, Phil, Chief, Arnulfo. So let's basically hunker down and move forward. And glad you're here. And we've got this get it over the hump. So with that, anybody want to say anything to David or not? Or should we go on to the next item? Okay. Stay in Hawaii. You should have stayed. All right, we'll go to item 13, Route 1, request for public benefit fee reduction and its support for cannabis tax ordinance. Mr. Senko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, staff, members of the community. On June 1st last year, Mr. Austin Canella, the managing member of Route 1, the city's cannabis retailer, requested a temporary reduction from the 6% of gross sales payable to the city through the community benefit agreement that was negotiated with the city pursuant to the cannabis permitting process. They requested the reduction to 2% for 1 year and then 4% thereafter until a formal cannabis business tax could be enacted, presumably also at 4%. I will let them explain. I will let Mr. Canella explain the reasons for this request. The city staff felt that due diligence was required to investigate and consider that request, not only for itself, but also before it could be presented to the council. Therefore, city worked with its cannabis contractor, HDL companies, and there was some delay and some time it took, but they produced 2 reports that are attached to your staff report. One was a market review, essentially statewide and local market analysis, the cannabis market. And the other was a financial review of Route 1's business records. The staff report is obviously in quite a bit of detail. We wanted to make sure that you were provided with all the information you needed. I don't see the point of going over every section. So we'll just kind of skip ahead to the city's recommendations and objections, I guess, to the request. Overall, city staff does not support the request to reduce the public benefit fee. The reasons are listed in the staff report, but part of it is because Route 1's application was offered a 6% sales or a 6% fee, whereas the other applicants that applied offered less. Staff believes that was a important contributor to the city council selection of this entity, and to basically reduce that fee now is sort of a it's sort of that we're not getting the city's not getting the benefit of its bargain. Another one, as you heard from our finance director, the city has a budget deficit, and this request to lower city revenues is probably not timed as well as it could be. Also, you'll note one of the reports, the financial report indicated that the cannabis market is pretty profitable, 60%. And yet Route 1 is below that significantly, about 40% gross profit margin. So that's 20% lower than the statewide average. And that would be something that staff would like them to work on to, if the reduction, if the city council ultimately agreed to some reduction, it should be tied to improving that profit margin. And the other reason the request is not agreed to or not supported is all of the local jurisdictions, with the exception of Grover Beach, have a 6% fee already. Grover Beach does have a 5% fee, but no one has a 4%. So why should Guadalupe have a lower even than Grover Beach at that lower rate? Staff also believes that staff does acknowledge that their burden is higher because of its agreement in the community benefit agreement to donate 1.5% of its gross profits for local nonprofits, plus offering paid volunteer employee in-kind contributions, which HDL estimates about 2%. So that brings essentially their contribution to the city to 8%. As difficult as it is for nonprofits to raise monies, and this is a welcome source of revenue to our local nonprofits. Nonprofits have a number of options to get other revenues, and the city could use this revenue right now. So staff would rather the council, if it wants to offer some reduction in the fee, temporarily relieve Route 1 from that obligation. That would be a 2% reduction in their costs, and that should give them some relief. And also, if the council isn't inclined to give them lower the public benefit fee, staff would recommend it be a temporary and not down to 2%, 5% or 4% for 1 year, and then review their profitability again to ascertain if the lowered fee should be continued or restored to 6%. As for the cannabis business tax ordinance, staff does not have a position on that. Staff's perfectly fine continuing with the status quo. The community development agreement process has some advantages. But if the council believes that the tax is more fair or would be better for the city, staff is perfectly agreeable to take steps necessary to move that forward. If it would happen this election cycle, we would have to get those measures on the ballot pretty soon. So we'd have to get the work pretty much done by the end of May, which it could be done, just so you know. Anyway, that concludes staff's report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay. Austin is here to make a presentation, and just for the council's benefit, we did give him an advanced copy of the staff report, so we'd have plenty of time to be able to address the city's concerns. Thank you.
You're on.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Austin Canella, and I'm here on behalf of Route 1. First, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you for all the support that you've shown our business from day one. We are proud to be Guadalupe's first and only locally owned and operated cannabis dispensary, and we take seriously the commitments that we made to the city. When we applied, we agreed to a 6% public benefit fee, fully in part because Guadalupe did not have an official cannabis tax in place. That 6% was kind of intended to function in lieu of a tax. And we stepped up and we made that commitment, and we've honored it. And we've also continued to honor our separate 1.5% commitment to local nonprofits, along with other in-kind community obligations in our agreement. HDL market reports, as Phil mentioned, that with those additional commitments, that our total burden is around 8%. Tonight, we're respectfully asking for temporary relief from the city's 6% contribution, preferably to 2 or 4%, why the city works towards placing a formal cannabis tax before the voters. And I want to be clear about something, that we support an official 6% cannabis tax, We're not asking to stop contributing. We're just asking for the right structure. The real issue is that this 6% is not a formal tax. It's just a contractual payment, which means it cannot be put onto the receipt and passed on to the individual customers the way a proper cannabis tax could work. Instead, it comes straight out of our business income. And because cannabis businesses are subject to federal tax rule 280E, we do not get treated like normal businesses, and we cannot deduct ordinary expenses like labor, rent, and other core operating costs. So when this 6% comes out of our revenue, it really hits our bottom line especially hard because we're already being taxed under a system that denies the deductions most businesses depend on. That's why comparing our city contribution to a neighboring city's cannabis tax rate is not really fair or an apples to apples comparison. A city tax and a contractual contribution are not the same thing. Even HDL acknowledges that the way a local cannabis tax appears on a receipt depends on the ordinance. But taxes are still a public tax structure, while our current payment is a private contractual obligation tied directly to our operation. And the city's own independent review shows that this is a real problem. HDL found our gross profit margin was around 40%, but our net profit margin was only 0.69%. So they concluded that we have a very thin bottom line with a limited capacity for adverse industry changes, which is kind of what's happening right now. We're in the middle of a statewide industry crisis. California licensed cannabis sales fell from 4.4 billion in 2023 to 4.2 billion in 2024, and then to 3.9 billion in 2025, making 2025 the third straight year of declining sales. At the same time, retail licenses dropped by 330, which is about a quarter of the operators since the third quarter of 2023, which shows that operators are not just struggling on paper, they're disappearing from the market. And it's not just small operators. Some of the biggest names in California cannabis have gone into collapse or court supervised restructuring. MedMen's California subsidiary was placed into receivership in April of 2024. State House, formerly Harborside, entered receivership in 2024, and Gold4, one of the state's largest operators, entered receivership in 2025 while trying to sell a business that included 16 dispensaries. That's the kind of environment that we're operating in today as a whole as an industry. But despite all that, we continued to grow and to show up for Guadalupe. We've continued our nonprofit support. We continued to operate responsibly, and we've continued to invest in this community. So we're not really asking to walk away from our commitments or for those commitments to change. We're just saying that if the city wants Route 1 to remain healthy enough to keep meeting those commitments, then we would like temporary relief from a structure that is hitting us harder than a normal city tax would. And on the question of why we not just raise prices or cut costs, the answer is that the market does not really allow it. I operate 2 other retails in the same market here, and we've experimented with higher prices, and basically we're competing against nearby markets like Lompoc, where there's a large number of retailers, and it's been a long time race to the bottom as far as pricing. So if we raise prices too much, customers will simply just go elsewhere. And at the same time, we already run lean. Since operating, I have not taken a salary myself because I've been doing everything possible to protect the margin and keep the business stable. This is not some large pool of excess costs left to cut. And HDL's own findings show that Route 1 is already operating on a thin bottom line with limited room for further pressure. So a formal cannabis tax is the better long-term solution. It is transparent, it is standardized, and it's what most jurisdictions use. And most importantly, it replaces a temporary workaround with the proper public framework. The staff report recognizes that the decision to move forward with the current CBA fee structure or a local cannabis tax is ultimately for the council to decide, and then the voters. But the current 6% community benefit payment is a business obligation that comes out of our own revenue and is exposed to the harsh effects of 280E. A properly enacted cannabis tax would be materially different because it could be structured as a customer tax collected at the point of sale rather than a contractual payment borne directly by our business. So the request tonight is simple. Please give us a temporary relief from the 6% contribution, preferably reducing it to 2 or 4%, while the city works towards adopting a formal cannabis tax. And we will support the official 6% tax and continue our nonprofit support. We want to stay here. We want to keep serving the community and keep contributing to Guadalupe for the long term. So thank you.
Thank you. Comments?
I have a couple
Please,
comments.
yeah.
The staff report, mentioned that, or maybe it was Phil, I mean, either or together, that we could, we're in a budget deficit where we need to, increase money coming into the city. But we will lose all cannabis funds if we don't help a business that has, and I mean, I don't want to say you're struggling, but I know how hard it is. I mean, some businesses went out in Grover Beach, cannabis businesses, and I don't want to, lose this little gem of a thing that we have going in our city. So I feel like we should really work toward getting a tax on the ballot as soon as possible and decide, a temporary reduction. I remember back in, I guess, June of last year, when you were here, I was like, oh man, we really need to help this guy. And, I know Phil's been working on the research and whatnot. But I think it's really important that we give some reprieve to a business that is, special in this area. So I'm not saying what the reduction should be, but I would vote for reduction and then getting the cannabis tax on the ballot as soon as possible.
Anything?
Make sure I'm understanding something. You're talking about, sir, you were talking about cannabis tax and you said 6%. Am I correct? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, we would be in support of a formal 6% cannabis tax to replace our previous 6% community benefit agreement.
And
And that is somewhat in line with other cities, neighboring cities, with Grover Beach being the only one lower at 5%.
and then you would bring back the 1.5% for the
We
nonprofits?
don't want to take the 1.5% away. We're very proud of our nonprofit partnerships. That's something that we enjoy very much, is getting to contribute directly to those. So we don't want that to pause at all. We want to continue doing that. So we're just asking for the temporary relief on the city side.
Okay. Maybe my question is to you, Philip. If the cannabis, if the council said we wanted to go with that cannabis tax and it was on the ballot and all of that, and it was 6%, just how does that benefit you if you're saying 6% now with a contractual benefit agreement is too high? I'm missing out on
Yeah,
something here.
So it's just the structural of it. So right now, when you go to a store and you buy your item and say it's $10 and then it has a sales tax on it, cannabis also has, local sales tax, the state excise tax of 15%. And then oftentimes it'll be a local cannabis tax that is listed as a tax on the bottom of the receipt. And so the $10 item becomes a, $14 or $15 item after all the taxes. But that tax is basically collected by us and then remitted directly to the city. So it doesn't pass through our revenue stream. It doesn't come out of our bottom line.
It's not out of your skin.
It's
Yeah.
put on the buyer. Is that correct?
It's from the buyer.
It's put on the
That's to
buyer
Customer.
versus them.
It reminds me of like the fees that hotels put on, you have they would be able to advertise a lower rate or list the product at a lower rate, and then you add the fees on top. Whereas right now, and staff doesn't want to fight on this issue. We haven't conceded that point, that they couldn't add that cost, but it may be more difficult for them to do it if it's not a tax. But like I said, I don't want to get into that. And staff does realize this is city council's decision. We just needed to present a point of view. You have to balance the whole interests of the city and the community at large. And we just wanted to present our opinion.
I have a quick question. What could the fiscal impact be to the city if that was to be put on the ballot?
Well, if it's if there's a 6% tax, there will be a delay on it being put in effect. I'm not sure.
January.
Well, it mean, well, we wouldn't see any revenue until April or something. I forgot how the taxes work. There would be a delay from the election until we were able to recover. And I assume that the relief granted to Route 1, if any, would apply until the tax kicked in terms of being able to charge it and pass it on. So there would be a fiscal impact of several months, 6 months maybe. I have the numbers in here.
But that
for
would
a
be,
year.
that would be covered by the reduction, right? So he would still be paying the reduction until that tax took effect in January.
Right.
And then.
Well, if they granted a
Right.
reduction, the Route 1 would benefit to the tune of maybe, I don't know, I forget, about $35,000 or something, or maybe more, I don't know. But they would have some benefit. And then once the tax kicked in, then that reduction would go away.
Got it. And there's no financial impacts, like we don't have to pay any fees to put that on the ballot.
I just think there's staff time and other indirect costs. I'm not sure. I can't remember if there's a cost to, there are costs associated with it. It's several $1,000s, I think, because there's the ballots that have to be, or the ballots that have to be, but it'd be lumped in with our normal election costs. So there is some costs, but I don't have that number for you.
Okay, thank you. I like that you gave us different options, and I do think that possibly putting some grant relief temporarily for the next year, and then bringing it back to council would be good. And I know that there's possibly even sharing that there could be a 2% reduction for nonprofit contributions, so it doesn't impact the city.
I think that was a suggestion that instead of reducing the city fee, that you provide relief on the nonprofit side, but
Could have.
Correct.
I don't think you want to do that.
we prefer to keep them going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
and staff, of course, prefers to keep the money coming into the city. So just difference of opinion.
Yeah, so I personally, we want to help the city just because with the budget deficit, I think it's important to think about that.
Gene, any comments?
No.
No, okay. First of all, if they go away, it's gonna hurt us even more. But you have the item 3 on page 7 of 8. That indicates that temporarily reduce the 5% or to 5 or 4. I would go for 4%. And then look at getting this on the ballot in terms of the tax. As what happened, this happened in Lompoc, where they passed the ordinances for the cannabis dispensaries and not passed the tax.
Correct.
And they came back and said, well, we're messing around with these groups. And I know that at one point there was like 15 dispensaries there in Lompoc. Now there's 7 or so, but they passed the tax and that helped them out. And I appreciate when we do food bank, your staff are there. Last Saturday, this guy was digging a hole over there at the ballpark. So they're committed to the community.
We are. We're part of the community. I have an 11-year-old daughter. She spends a lot of time here. Spent a lot of time with us developing this project, and
Well,
want to be here for the long run.
no, I would go with not to 2%, but to go to 4, and then to for us to look at the ordinance that bring it forward for the tax, for tax on cannabis. Yeah.
Any other comments before I respond? Oh, sorry.
I
go ahead.
agree with the mayor.
Okay. Well, if 3 of you vote in favor, I agree with the mayor too. What you're no, we can do that. We can't assume that the tax will pass. I mean, the voters could say no. So we don't want to tie the relief to the passing of the tax, but maybe we can bring this back. But I think that you can take immediate reaction tonight from today, right now, or starting tomorrow morning. The CBA fee would be reduced from 6% to 4%. You can take that action, put a time limit on it, like a year. And then in the meantime, staff will bring an item to move forward with the ordinance. We have already received a bid from HDL to assist us with that. They have a lot of experience in that. It was part of the original proposal but we delayed that because we didn't know if the council would support an ordinance, tax ordinance. So they're prepared to move forward and assist us on that. And I'm sure we can get it done in time to meet the election deadlines.
You know, I was impressed with HDL and your responses. They looked at every little detail.
They
Maybe
really did. They
probably kept you up at night.
They were like, "Where'd this $100 go?" I was like, "Hold on, we got a receipt right here." So they really did their job, and they've been great.
Well, it helps us and helps you. So
yeah, and Austin agreed right away to use HDL without any objection.
Okay.
So that's our consultant. So we felt comfortable with their opinion as well.
what are you looking for? A motion? Do you?
Yeah, I would say make a motion to reduce the temporarily reduce the public benefit fee to 4% for a period of 1 year. Today to April 14th next
this
year.
time, yeah.
And that would go away if the ordinance 6% rate is passed by the voters. That reduction would end early if whenever the tax would start being collected.
And wouldn't touch the 2%.
You can if you want.
No, we don't.
Staff won't object.
No.
And not to complicate things, but as we do develop a tax, I think 6% should be the retail tax. We do have manufacturing and distribution and processing in the city as well. And I think that should be a separate tax structure from the 6%. Can be included in the same ordinance, but shouldn't be at 6%.
Well, that's why we need HDL to help us.
Yeah.
So we will work, I'm sure Austin will cooperate, provide what he'd like to see, and then we'll talk to HDL and see if that's in the city's interest. And we'll bring an ordinance to you as soon as we can.
Okay, so the motion would be to reduce it to 4% for a period of a year.
I'll make them.
Yeah, but to end earlier if ordinance is passed.
Okay.
At 6%.
Okay.
I will make a motion to reduce the fee to 4% for a year unless the ordinance is passed before then.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Nope.
Thank you, guys.
All ayes. Thank you.
Oh. Better not be rolling.
It did not influence the decision.
Better. Better not be.
By the
Hey,
way, they donated to
better
the
not be rolling
baseball field too, so. Yeah, I didn't want to say that for. Okay, okay, good. Okay, all right. Future agenda items, unless I'm missing something. Announcements, council activity reports.
I was just gonna say that I spoke, I think Christina did as well, but spoke at Kermit McKenzie yesterday. I did 7 20-minute presentations for 6th graders. There's a lot of talking, my voice is out because of it, but got to talk to them about my day job, which is with NASA, and then also mentioned that I live in Guadalupe, which they were very excited about that, and also mentioned that I was on the council. So it was just really nice to be at the school and reach all those children. And I think Christina did that as well. So
Which school was that? Was that
Kermit McKenzie.
Okay.
I attended the bi-monthly Zoom meeting on the housing and homelessness issue. That was last Friday. A variety of things were brought up, but one in particular that was of interest to everybody who participated was the mixed status update. There was public comment that's still open until Tuesday for the Federal Register. It was mentioned that for every letter that's been received in agreement, one has been in agreement and 100 have been opposing it. So the question is, because there's so many opposing the change in the prorated subsidy given to mixed status families, will there be a change? Will it go through? Will it not go through? And they're speculating. They don't know. They don't know. But it was important to hear the number of individuals opposing. Speaking of that, the mayor did send a letter to HUD on March 29th, requesting that the rule change not go into effect. But it mentioned that if it did go into effect, the proposed rule, that could greatly affect families in our community and in the county and in the state, that the rule be applied prospectively only and not to current tenants or participants. So that was the update on the mixed status. It was also mentioned that there's a program which is called the Emergency Housing Voucher, and that program is going to lose funding at the end of the year, and that's about over $1 million. One other topic that was brought up, and it continues to be brought up, which is very interesting. It started with Goleta several months ago, and that's the local preference program. I had talked to Philip about that. The county of Santa Barbara and the city of Santa Barbara are also looking into that. And that in summary means that if you're a resident in the city, let's say Guadalupe looked into this, if you're a resident here, you work here, you get preference in terms of first bid at housing. Basically, that's what this local preference program is all about. Let's see. Can't read my notes. Mentioned that the number of families at risk countywide, if the mixed status update, mixed status rule goes into effect, which lessens the subsidy for families that have what they're calling illegal or ineligible residents. It'll affect about 300 plus families if the rule goes into effect. Right now, the housing assistance for that program is $161,000 per month, and that would go away. So that's a chunk of change. So that's the update.
Jean, anything?
I participated in the cleanup at the park. Also did cafecito with the school and did a school presentation with the Barajas Foundation.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna give you a copy, Judy, so you don't have to remember all of this, but I have a Santa Barbara County Association of Government meeting this Thursday and regular meetings in Santa Maria this time. And once a month, we either meet in Santa Maria or Santa Barbara. We could go remote here in Santa Maria. Earth Day, that's we're doing a Guadalupe Earth Day cleanup. That's the following the Saturday, April 25th from 9 to 1. We're meeting at the Veterans Memorial Plaza to do a cleanup. And what's cool about this is that Stephanie Krause had 32 students actually paint. She received the donation from what's the carpenter, the carpenter. No, what's his name? Melinda's husband, Slavic. There you go, Slavic. He's a cabinet guy here in town, next to the old Subway, and before that was A&W root beer, way back. Yeah, Victoria's too. So we want to go way back. Okay. Anyway, he donated 11 by 10 by 11 pieces of wood, and she had the students paint, flowers and stuff, keeping Guadalupe beautiful. So I attached wood to it, but they're gonna distribute those flowers all over the place. They're very beautiful, by the way. So you'll see that in town, probably part of that Guadalupe Earth Day. Clean up from 9 to 11 o'clock, the Veterans Memorial. We'll have all the stuff there. And you've heard about the Boys and Girls Club thing. A little bit about the ball field. There's some volunteers. We've received quite a few resources to renovate the ball field, from the fencing to the bases to the dirt, and anticipation of getting the Giants organization thing here. So you have any idea how that's going? Did anybody register for that? Okay. So that will happen in June, but we're trying to get that adult league going over there too. So that's if you go look at the field, you'll see a lot happening though. So thanks for everybody that donated for that, because we have a lot of Guadsters and people from outside the areas that did donate for that. So that's all I had. Is there a motion to? Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. No. There you go. I'm looking for gophers. Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I have one more thing, Ms.
I'm
Moore.
sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. On Saturday, the 18th, the Firefighters Association is hosting a car wash at the Veterans Building. So bring your cars, make some donations.
Good.
He's
gonna be washing.
He's got his bathing suit picked out already.
Here's the.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second?
I'll second. I'll second.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you.